This is my sport and violence sport observation final project. Introduction. So, my name is Lauren Serrano, and I am a sophomore here at IU Bloomington. The game that I decided to observe is the IU versus Michigan football game, and this is where the college met and played. This game took place November 9th, 2024, and the time of the game was 3:30. The event was located at Indiana University Memorial Stadium. I attended this game with both of my brothers, and this was my third ever college football game, so it was really exciting. So first of all, I'm going to talk about what the atmosphere was like. So first of all, it was very crowded. I've been to a couple college football games, but this game in particular was very, very crowded, which surprised me a lot. The stadium was almost filled completely. There were mainly IU fans, but there was a good amount of Michigan fans as well. Like I said, there were a good amount of fans of both teams. Another thing that I noticed when observing this game was it was very, very loud. Which is expected at a game with this many people, but everyone was very loud and enthusiastic and excited to be there rooting for their team. So there were 7 officials or refs. There were fans, of course, at the game, and then there were players from both teams, as well as coaches. There was also the medical team, there were the cheerleaders, there was the band, and the dance team as well. So there were many different groups and people at this game. I think the atmosphere is very important because it really just gives off the vibe of the game, and overall it is what makes a football game a football game. So next I'm going to talk about the interactions. So there were many interactions during this game, whether that be player to player, fans to fans, fans to refs, coaching to players, and so on and so forth. So first I'm going to talk about the interactions of the player to player. So football is a contact sport, so the contact of player versus player was physical because football, like I said, is a contact sport. So of course the players are going to be tackling each other and being physical. So the interaction that I experienced from the fans to fans was the stadium was loud and the fans were rowdy and aggressive towards one another because the game was close at the end, so there was much tension. So we were leading at the beginning, but towards the end, it was very, very close. So the fans did start to get rowdy and aggressive towards one another. So there definitely was tension between the fans at a time. The next interaction I'm going to talk about is the fans to the refs. So one thing that I did experience was the IU fans getting mad at the refs for a bad call. The refs may or may not have made a bad call, and lots of people thought this, so the fans began to yell and chant towards the refs. Another interaction I'm going to talk about is coaches to players. The coaches were really engaged with the players and seemed calm, which is important for the players, especially in this kind of atmosphere. So overall, when I was watching the coaches, they didn't really seem distracted by the loud atmosphere and the noise of the fans. They just seemed engaged with their players, and just overall, all they were focused on was communicating with their players and getting them where they needed to be. Here are a couple more interactions that I did experience. So another one was spectators to players. The spectators were supportive to the players, especially the ones on their team, and respectful to the opposing players overall. So this did surprise me because I have heard stories of the spectators and players arguing and getting in fights and all that stuff, but overall when I observed it at this game, there wasn't any problems. The second one is players and refs. The players overall were respectful to the refs and respected their calls. So this again also surprised me because I have seen clips in the past of players getting mad at a bad call from the refs, but overall. Another thing that I found when researching was that games could be so important to specific people because it can be a sense of belonging to a community. So the fan base can feel like a community, and it can just be fun to be involved in some sort of fan base like that. It is also a big social thing. So the next question is, what is being learned by the players while playing? So as the players play, they're learning new skills as well as time management. Young spectators can also learn new skills from watching professionals play. So this is a picture that I did take at the game. It was very cold out, and this just shows how packed the stadium was. You can see lots of red in the picture, which means overall there were probably more IU fans because it was at IU too. So that could be a main reason. But you can basically just see the environment, and you could see by all the people how you could imagine how loud it probably was. You could see it was dark out and the lights shining on the field, so you can see. You could see both end zones, and if you look closely in like the left bottom corner, you can see a couple of the cheerleaders. So this is another picture I wanted to add. This is just me and my brothers at the game sitting in the stadium. And then this is another picture of me and my younger brother before the game as well. So that's all I have.